What is up, everybody? Welcome to another brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea. Episode 18. We're able to get our driver's license, I guess, in a lot of places.
True.
We all right? I mean, that's pretty much what it is. We're not old enough to drink yet, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Couple more episodes.
A couple more episodes under our belt, and we'll get to that part.
Then I can start spiking my tea.
You can start.
yeah, right. I can start.
You can start. Okay. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for joining us wherever it is, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Twitter, wherever it is. If it's the audio-only version, thanks for joining us. Wherever you found your podcast on Pop Culture Pros. So thank you for that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. We got a very interesting movie that we're all like dying to get into. We'll have that as we're going to cover the 1990 Captain America, the direct-to-video. And actually, I was talking to Rick, and I noticed on the thing I was talking about, it says direct-to-video, cassette, and Laserdisc. Rick's idea was they should have just released it to Laserdisc so nobody would have ever seen it and can never be recovered.
That would have been.
But thankfully, somebody uploaded it. Yeah, thankfully, somebody uploaded it for YouTube. So
and it has 7 million views. 7 million people viewed that.
Yeah,
Tony, and 3 of those people are us.
Yeah,
this is true. And Rick is another one.
Yeah,
and Rick is another one. And Tim, actually, so we kind of know who 4 of the views are. So there is that. We got a couple of comments in here quick. We'll turn it over to you guys quickly. What's up, Farachi? Yes, we're 18 now. Yay!
That's right.
Go us. And Gina, thank you for joining us. What's up?
Hi, Gina.
What's going on there? Hopefully, you're ready for us to get into some 1990 Captain America. Well, we're going to talk about the new Snake Eyes teaser trailer that dropped, which I'm excited about. We haven't really discussed too much G.I. Joe on that, but that does fall under our preview. So and Transformers are ours.
They all had comics. If you were a cartoon, you were a comic in the 80s.
Exactly. Yep. That's all you needed to do. And then we'll also do our CW verse run through. And then we have a brand new segment that I can't wait to get to as well. It's going to be called Catching Up with Mr. J as Jason catches up on a lot of these series that we're going to be covering on the show. We just want to get his thoughts as he's going through it because we're not going to obviously cover an entire season 1 or 2 of The Boys. So that's awesome as well. Farachi with another comment in here. Gina Loveshaw is a great fan of the site. If she's watching, pretty impressive. All right, nice.
All right,
Gina,
nice.
Thank
Love
you.
It.
Stamp of approval. We got the PCP stamp of approval here for us.
Outstanding.
So what's up, Tony? What's going on, man? You haven't been with us in a couple of weeks. What's up with you?
Just got the day job has been in the way, but we're free and clear. And I got to watch this train wreck of a movie last night, which I'll be able to talk with you fine gentlemen later, which I'm really looking forward to. But I miss you guys. I miss talking comics with you. So we got more Superman and Lois coming back, which is great. We got to talk about a trailer. We got all kinds of shit going on. I'm excited, guys.
I'm pretty pumped up too, man. It's great to have you back, dude. I know you had some stuff to take care of, but it's exciting to have you back. Jason, what's up? How's your week been?
Yeah, week's been good. Just been catching up with a lot of stuff. Been putting the baby to bed earlier, so that gives me kind of a little more leeway to do some things here. And and it's summer, right? It's summer weather out there.
Yeah,
baby. I'm in
we're in the 80s
right
here
now.
in New York.
It was today. It was summer weather today.
And I can smell that summer break coming. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm gonna say, bro, you watching all kinds of stuff, bro. You texting during the week, and you're like, Ed, I watched this, and I caught up on that, and I did, and I'm saying, where does this dude have the time? He's got a baby at home. He's watching like 9 different shows right now.
Because we've been putting the baby to sleep earlier, and I don't really sleep a lot. Like, I don't go to sleep till like 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. And I get up for work, and I teach my classes. I'm always someone who doesn't, I stay up late. So, and I got hooked into these shows, man. Some of them were really good.
My man.
I noticed
That's
how you
what
say
I'm talking about.
some. I noticed you say some of them have been really good.
No, I mean,
Oh, he's liking them. He's digging them, dude.
No, I know
yeah,
he is. I know
I'll
he is.
talk about it.
Yeah, no, he is digging them. I love it. I love it. So I have to catch up on on some of the things that you're watching now anyway. So after we have the catching up with
Mr. T, catching
we're
up with
gonna have
Mr.
catching
T.
up with Mr. T after
That's
that.
right.
So.
You can bring some chains and mohawk and stuff like that.
All right.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to
I
it.
could.
I gotta work on it.
I have a
I got-
costume already to the side waiting for you guys. Trust me.
I got to work
What's up?
on a Joker impression. You get your Mr. T costume together, and we're doing an episode completely in character.
I can't wait.
When you see what I got, oh my god! I want a contest with this damn costume. So
That's awesome.
There's our buddy Berto. What's up, Berto? Thanks for joining us tonight.
What's up, Berto?
As always, I'm pretty sure we'll have you on here soon enough again, if when the schedule allows.
Loki's coming.
Yeah. So let's
gonna want to talk Loki.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that's when we'll see Jada back as well. But let's jump right into it. All right, let's. We had a pretty big trailer that dropped this week. The trailer for Snake Eyes, GI Joe Origins. That's Paramount giving the GI Joe film franchise a reboot because they had the two films. There was GI Joe Rise of Cobra and then GI Joe Retaliation. Mixed bag with both of those. So they're kind of with a fresh new start. I think they're kind of taking inspiration from the MCU to maybe focus on solo characters before they get G.I. Joe as kind of like their Avengers. They'll probably have a G.I. Joe Real American Hero as their Avengers, which I think is a smart and it's a different thing. Also, their other franchise that they have, which is from their Hasbro brand, was Bumblebee, because Bumblebee was like a sneaky backdoor reboot. A lot of us weren't too sure exactly what to make of that when that dropped because we were all pretty much fed up with the Michael Bay Transformers franchise, and all of a sudden there's a Bumblebee solo movie announced with like Haley Steinfeld and John Cena, and we're kind of like, what the hell is this? And then when I saw the reviews popping out, I'm like, all right, I'll have to check this out with an open mind, and it completely blew the doors off, and I absolutely love Bumblebee. So I'm hoping the same with Snake Eyes. I mean, Snake Eyes was my favorite G.I. Joe growing up. I mean, I think he was just always the coolest looking one, especially the member of the Joes. What did you guys think of the trailer?
So, I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm not a huge I used to like G.I. Joes when I was a kid, but it's not something that I have huge nostalgia for whatever reason. I did like the character of Snake Eyes because he starts off as Cobra and he turns to become a Joe. So I always thought that was interesting. I thought the trailer looked cool, but it also, I didn't think it was anything special. Like I ended that trailer going, I'd see that, but not like, oh my God, I've got to see that. So I think it's a fine trailer, and I think it could be a good movie. Like looks like it's got some really good action in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a teaser. I mean, I think they literally just kind of like really went into whet the appetite, and like Tony, what what our buddy John Campia talks about a lot is that it's like, hey, when you watch a trailer, the ultimate goal for a trailer is to raise your expectations or your excitement level, that you had before you watched it. So as far as that goes, how did you feel about the Snake Eyes trailer?
I like the idea. I do. The first G.I. Joe with Channing Tatum was nothing to write home about. It was actually pretty awful. They brought The Rock in for the second one, which, look, if you were trying to save your franchise, who better to do it than Dwayne Johnson? Because people are going to just go see the movie just because he's in it. I do that. So
I do too.
I mean, why? Like if he's in something, I mean, you could put him in there where he's just tossing frogs around, the lily pads for an hour. I probably paid to go see it. But, I mean, this was a good idea. I think I don't like the idea of using the origins, considering how wonderful that went for the X-Men when they decided to use that. But Snake Eyes is definitely the most interesting character of the G.I. Joes. I love his relationship with Storm Shadow. I love the mystery behind, the mask and, the fact he doesn't speak and so on and so forth. So to get a little bit of a view into that for him, how he got to where he was and where he goes, from there, I think that's, it's a good story to tell. So if you're going to kick off these solo movies kind of leading up to a G.I. Joe or, Real American Hero movie, then this is the way to do it. But I thought it was pretty good, and I'm interested. If I wasn't interested before, I'm definitely interested now to see where, what's going to be. And I like Henry Goulding. I think he's very good. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in much, but I know a lot of people are talking him up, and he's like a new rising star. in Hollywood, so that's cool. I'm glad he's getting to see that coming up. But I'm one who kind of like with G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. I think I was mixed bag on it, and then the more I rewatched it, I was like, like this is pretty bad. Because I didn't like a lot of the choices that they made with a lot of the characters and that. But Snake Eyes was cool. His mask looked a little bit weird in the first one because they gave him like a mouth. I don't know what the hell that was about. I guess it was the same thing. Like the original Bayformers decided to give like Optimus Prime a mouth. And I was like, what the hell is that? So the same idea. But I liked Retaliation a lot more because I think I liked what they did with Cobra Commander in that movie. Loved what they did with Snake Eyes and with having Dwayne The Rock Johnson play Roadblock. I thought it was a good choice. Flint was like whatever. Lady Jade I thought was actually pretty cool. And they continued that storyline with Destro as the president and being undercover and blah blah blah. But I thought it was solid. It was, again, not like you said, nothing to write home about. But I'm glad that they're starting over again and they're getting a new shot at it. And I think I'm pretty sure by the end of the movie is probably where we're going to see Snake Eyes lose his voice, because I know in some incarnations it's an accident in battle where he loses his voice and then he can't speak anymore, and then in others he takes like an oath of silence. So whichever way they go with it, honestly, I'm good either way. That's really not that big of a story point for me, but I'm pretty sure we'll probably get to know him as a person, and then at the end, whatever it is will happen, and then they'll go on. I also saw some interesting things though, is that he's not the only Joe character that we're getting. Baroness is in this movie.
Oh,
Scarlet is in this movie as well.
Yep.
And Storm Shadow, which you would obviously is tied to Snake Eyes, so that he's going to be in this film as well. Right. So I think that's cool. Like, and I know Scarlet's had a lot to do with Snake Eyes' origin story as well in the comics and stuff. So I think that's pretty interesting that they're keeping that intact.
Well, they've always been tied. They were tied even in the show. They were always tied together. So you always think that when as soon as I heard that Snake Eyes was coming out, I knew that Scarlet and Storm Shadow were definite. And then and Scarlet and Baroness are kind of like they're like mortal enemies. So it makes sense that all three of them are going to end up being in this.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I'm curious to see how many solo projects they're going to go with before they get to a G.I. Joe, whatever they're going to end up calling it, whether they keep Real American Hero or not, whatever it is that they're going to call it. I'm curious to see how many they're going to do, because I know there was some weird rumor going out online. I think it may have been a year ago. Tim actually put me onto it, that there was talk of like a Chuckles movie. And I was like, what? Why? Out of all characters, Chuckles? Really? I thought of like Duke or
I would think
General
Duke,
Hawk.
Flint, General Hawk, Duke, Flint, and Snake Eyes would make the most sense.
Yeah.
And then introduce other characters, like they're doing with this movie, introduce a few other characters along with those movies, and then boom, you have your. But why?
I hope it's not the case.
Sense.
I know it was getting thrown out there.
Is that a we got it covered kind of thing?
No. This was actually legit that the talk was going on about it, but I haven't seen any progress on it in quite some time. So hopefully there's no Chuckles.
I'd rather see a shipwreck movie than a Chuckles movie. I'd rather see like a 1950s sailor with a parrot than I would a Chuckles movie. I owned Chuckles when I was a kid. He had like the weird Hawaiian shirt that was like had the buttons open. He was like what was it? I don't even know what his specialty was. I think he was drinking in the afternoon.
I was going to say he didn't even know what his specialty was. I actually have a shipwreck pop someplace. I might have packed it up already.
Really?
I have shipwreck and Zartan from G.I. Joe.
Oh, Zartan was cool. I like Zartan.
Zartan was really cool. Yep. Destro was awesome. Cobra Commander, as terrible as his plans were, and they were all always doomed to fail, he at least looked cool. I mean,
Funko has not done a huge G.I. Joe release like they've done with other, with other properties. They released it with like these 80s, these 80s shows or so on and so forth. So they only released like 5 or 6 different characters, and then that was it, and then it went away. So I'm kind of waiting for them to come out and do another release with that.
Well, you let me know when they drop that damn exclusive, because of Snake Eyes with Timber is Wolf over there. That's what I really want to say.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure I'll forward that along to you when I see it.
Yes, please do. All right, so it sounds like we're pretty excited for Snake Eyes. That gives us the thumbs up, and we'll see though. Obviously, it's just a teaser trailer. It's not even like a real trailer yet, but whatever. Point is, it was successful in what it needed to do. I was excited for it before. Got me a little bit more excited. The action scenes look cool and everything like that. So if that's all you're giving me right now, I can take it. And I also thought the poster was pretty cool too. That they had
Oh, yeah.
as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, so before we move on, we'll get to a couple of quick comments. Berto dropping in. Yes, Bumblebee was great. I had a feeling that's a movie we're definitely going to do on here. We're definitely going to do Bumblebee. I'm not sure how far we'll get into the
Please don't tell me we have to do.
No,
we're not going to do the other Transformers.
Yeah,
Please,
I don't
please
know
tell
if we
me.
can do that.
No,
I've watched enough bad shit in the last couple of weeks. I don't need to be watching. I definitely don't need to see Michael Bay for like 5 weeks straight.
Maybe we'll save it for after we do the MCU. So we've been on such a nice, good stretch. We can take some shit.
I'll go with that because the first Transformers is not bad. It just goes like off a cliff after that.
But Bumblebee is just, oh my god, I absolutely adore that film on like so many levels. Like the first 10 minutes of that movie when they're on Cybertron, they could have stopped the movie right there, and I would have been like, I'm good, fine. I don't even need any more. My mind was blown.
No, you were. You texted me that day. You text me from you're saying I'm going to see Bumblebee. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. That's what you said. And then you went into the theater, and literally 10 minutes into the movie, you text me and be like, if this movie ends right now, I'm a happy man. They've revamped the entire Transformers world with this movie. You were 10 minutes into the film, and that's what he texted me.
10 minutes into the movie, and it was like, this is the best live-action Transformers I've ever seen by far. No questions asked, and that. Jason, you haven't seen Bumblebee, right?
No, I haven't yet. I'm actually waiting until we do it for the show now because you've got me kind of hyped to see it.
It's I don't steer you wrong too often. At least I hope not. But Bumblebee is. I know, Tony. I know you saw it, and I absolutely loved it. I'll always have a special place for this stuff for like G.I. Joe and Transformers. Because as a kid, those were like my favorites, and He-Man and all of that crap. But like,
Masters of the Universe, bro.
I'm waiting for my He-Man movie. I want my real He-Man movie. None of that Dolph Lundgren canon bullshit. Give me a real freaking He-Man movie.
Oh, but we're gonna get some Dolph Lundgren canon action next week. But
God, we are.
We absolutely are. So, but let's not get into that. We got time. We have time.
Three of us are getting punished next week.
Oh, we absolutely are.
We were punished this week.
Yes, we're officially getting punished next week.
It's true.
But what's not punishing us though is DC's Legends of Tomorrow, season 6, episode 3. And so another wacky episode, one that Angie, my wife, didn't really care for too much. But I think it was because it was poking fun. She likes Masked Singer and stuff like that, and to me, there was a lot of like jabs and jokes at that expense.
Absolutely. But also, I want to go on record. I like Masked Singer too. My Reg and I watched that for like a couple of seasons, and I did see they were completely parodying that. Like that's kind of what I liked about it. It was like, I get the joke. I saw this show.
Exactly. It's like when I love Star Wars, but I watch Spaceballs and I laugh my ass off. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
it was a parody of that. They had a show called The Throne, and that was the singing competition show, which I thought was great.
The fact that this super ass kicking alien comes down to this planet and mistakes the guy from The Throne who has a s'mores for a mask for a head.
DJ S'mores,
as the leader. DJ S'mores. He decides he's going to kill him and take over the planet.
He had the throne.
It was just that. It was The Throne, exactly. Just that scene when the alien goes into the convenience store is like, who is this? This is obviously a ruler. Like the way they wrote and played that alien was perfect. It was so funny.
It was hilarious. He was absolutely hilarious, dude. It was so perfect. So and well, Tony, you'll get a kick out of this thing. So the legends go into the future in this in the year 2045, and they're on Earth and they're doing their thing, and they find out though. Because Zari, who's one of the members of the Legends, she's actually from that time, as is her brother. They matter of factly are kind of like, yo, The Rock is the president. He's like an old guy now, but he was like the president. They don't show him on screen, but they refer to him as that he was the president of the United States.
President Rock?
President Dwayne Rock Johnson, yes. And then Commander Steele acts as like, oh, well, was John Cena the vice president? So I'm like, I thought it was actually great. it was another self-referential thing. I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Well, look, he's all in on DC, so why not?
Yeah, but again, that's what we love about the show. The meta humor
Yep.
on the show is always spot on.
It's so good. Like it's like they're telling the joke, they are the butt of the joke, and they are in on the joke, and it works perfectly
every single week.
That's hilarious.
And I love Constantine as like dressing up like a Billy Idol type, and then they win like so. Just to summarize real quick, the whole thing is to protect the Earth. They convince the alien, instead of killing DJ S'mores, to enter the competition, and they convince him that, well, this is how you get the throne. So he goes, well, okay, it's if this is the local custom, I'm going to do it. And so they do a singing competition with this alien
who's trying to destroy the Earth.
To destroy the Earth, and if he wins the singing competition, he destroys the Earth. That's the agreement. And so Zari starts singing a Buzzcock song, which actually ties into the beginning because her and Constantine are like falling for each other. And Constantine's playing the song, and the whole theme of the song is, do you ever fall in love with someone you shouldn't have? And so the part of the subplot of the episode is they're having some will they, won't they vibes. And then at the end, Constantine comes out like he's fucking Billy Idol with his guitar, and she starts singing the Buzzcock song, and then all these people join her. It's just it's a super cool moment in a really fun show. Like, again, if you're not watching this show and you like this kind of stuff, you gotta treat yourself.
Yeah, it's out of the whole Arrowverse, man, this is the one that has the most fun, I think, by far. Because I think at one point it may have been the Flash, but like Legends at some point just decided, hey, we're gonna do this thing. We're just gonna go batshit crazy every week, and that's it. But they do it in not a stupid way, though. It's actually like genuinely really funny. I love the fact that Constantine gets referred to as a street magician because they don't know who he is and everything like that. They're like, oh, Zari's boyfriend is a street magician, and because he's about to do magic and stuff, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? That's actually
that
really
is hysterical.
Good, but then Sarah is with Gary on a planet where she's fighting a bunch of clones of of her girlfriend
Sharp.
of Director Sharp. So she's all fighting through them, and they're like, it's a mind game that they're playing with her. It kind of reminded me like if Supergirl was going to do this whole Phantom Zone thing correctly, it's kind of how it is, because it doesn't bother me that Sarah and Gary are off on another planet and kind of like a Phantom Zone type of thing, but like I'm not getting bored of it. I think it's still fun though.
I agreed. It's still fun, and it's different with Supergirl because this isn't called, Captain Canary, or I forget her real name. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Captain Sarah Lance. This is called Legends of Tomorrow. So, if they want to send some of the legends and do their own thing and have them apart for a while, it's not the same as taking your titular Supergirl and shoving her somewhere by herself. At least Sarah has Gary to play off of.
Exactly.
And I think that's part of why it's right, exactly. And because they're two characters that don't get along, they're two characters that have never really gotten much screen time, and now we get to see them together. So that's kind of part of the fun of having them on their own.
Yeah, and I thought it was actually interesting too the crowd that's on the throne. They were on screens and stuff like that, and they were doing it virtually, which I thought was clever. Because again, that was filmed during COVID, so I think that was a pretty way. Yep. It didn't seem weird and out of place. It kind of seemed like it made sense, so it didn't kind of like take me out of it. Rory, by the way, stepping on the little alien because the big monster alien that's about to take over, that he enters the competition and wants to wipe away the planet. Yep. He goes ahead and find out, Ben in Black style, there's a little alien in his head that's controlling it. So it's a little alien controlling the whole thing. And then Rory just is drunk and steps on it as he's walking by and everything. I thought that was fantastic. Mick Rory and Constantine are my favorite characters on this show. They're both great.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that one. They're hysterical.
And there's a Thor Ragnarok reference on this episode where they refer again to the MCU as being, I guess, their entertainment and their film. Yeah, because they were saying Steel goes ahead, and who I'm going to keep calling Steel because he actually he used his abilities once for this week and actually did the Steel skin and fought. So he goes at it. He references he can imagine Sarah's pulling a Thor Ragnarok and like winning the Earth and winning the planet that she's on, kind of like Hulk did on that, and being like a champion. So I thought that was I got a kick out of that as well.
That was good.
So all right, well,
now, Constantine in this show is Matt Reed. Is Matt Reed, right? Is that the
Matt Ryan? Yeah,
Matt Ryan.
And it's continued from his series.
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, because when we went to that what was it, the premiere of Justice League Dark, he was there, right?
Yep, that was him. Love that guy. Absolutely love that guy.
Cool.
He was there and he was talking about how much he loved the character. He actually said, remember Ed? He said that he took the trench coat home with him.
Yep,
he was
did
like,
when
fuck
they canceled the series. Yeah,
yeah. He's like, fuck that. I'm taking this home. This belongs to me.
That's
He's
awesome.
All about it,
That's
man.
awesome.
Yeah. No, he loves it. He loves
and
it. He's good.
He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, he is.
He was so great. Yeah, he was great in the Justice League Dark. I was not into the animated movies as much as I am now. Only that kicked it off for me. We went to that premiere in New York City. What was that? That was like a Directors Guild or something like that, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was up on like 57th Street or something like that.
Yeah, it was a Directors Guild theater, and we got passes to go, and it was really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, that was a blast. I really enjoyed Justice League Dark and his work with it because they did a Constantine solo animated movie, and they also they closed that door, or at least that period of DC animated films with Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, which is awesome. If you're into the DC animated stuff, check that one out because they ended that completely amazingly. And Matt Ryan is Constantine in it, and he's arguably the main character of that entire DC animated film.
Was that Jay Olivia that did that movie?
Yeah, he did.
It was Jay Olivia. Jay Olivia. Anything that's got his name on it that has to do with DC, the guy is phenomenal. He totally gets it. He totally gets it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really, really good with that stuff. All right, well, let's keep it rolling with our CW verse stuff, and let's get episode 14 of season 2 of Batwoman. I think they were on a good stretch, but this episode, I'm not going to say it was like complete trash, but it was just okay. I mean, honestly, I kind of found some things boring about it. It just really wasn't that particularly interesting. I thought the one thing they had was really interesting, though, was they discovered another strand of snake bite, that medicine, that like a drug that's going around, but it turned people into like fucking flesh-eating zombies in a way. Like, I thought, and the city was being crazed by it, but they didn't really focus on it that much, which kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, I so to be honest, I didn't like this episode.
No.
And my reasoning is this, like this this episode made me realize why I'm very iffy about this show overall. It's because tonally it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like a major plot of this episode is a social commentary about how the police treat people of color and how people of color get unfairly arrested and the police abuse their powers. But another plot is my sister was brainwashed and I put a new face on her and she's now a crime kingpin and there are zombies. And it's like the two of those don't meld for me. Like when Black Lightning does something social commentary, that works because Black Lightning is a more serious show. But like having these two things of like, oh, we're trying to make serious social commentary, but also that was watered down too because it was like, what were they arrested for?
Yeah.
Their bar was playing loud music in the middle of the afternoon. Get the fuck out of here! There's no way in hell you can arrest people for that. Like so even what the infraction was made no sense. So it's like they're trying to make these commentaries, which I think if other shows can do. As I said, Black Lightning does it very well. But then they're also giving us this goofy shit. Like, so that's why I didn't like this episode, because I'm like, what are you trying to do here? Like, you can't be goofy and then expect me to take you seriously. Like, the end of this episode ends with Luke Fox being shot by one of the crows, which is weird because they set the whole thing up that it's the GCPD that has this problem with the cops and the way they're treating the people of color of Gotham, and they kind of hinted at that as another episode. But then at the end, it's the crows that shoot Lucius Fox, and they make it, it's one of those things where he's going for his cell phone and they say gun. So it's like, so who are the bad guys? What's the social commentary? Is it the cops doing this? Is it third party industrial murder? Like, I just think like they wanted to do something and then they went weird and wacky and didn't follow through, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that was my other huge knock against this episode for why I kind of thought it fell flat for me, is because with the trailers and stuff and with the scene that I saw that they were trying to set up, and I was like, all right, so Batwoman this episode is gonna do some social commentary, and then they just kind of flubbed the entire thing that they were trying to do. Like, they set up something that they were gonna do that sounded like it was gonna be meaningful. All of a sudden, it just went nowhere, and you're like, wait, what happened to that? You were doing this, then you got the zombies running around, and you got Commander Kane doing whatever the hell he's doing now. Like, I don't know, I just felt like it was all over the place. And then I did have my what the fuck moment of the week with this, which didn't think I was going to find because I just thought it was just a boring episode. But you want to explain to me why Ocean was waiting for Alice for 2 days in her train station like hideaway thing?
I don't know.
He said he was there for 2 days. You're telling me he sat there for 48 hours and was waiting for her? Really? He's like this lovesick puppy all of a sudden?
He's catching up on Netflix. He had the boys to catch up on like I did.
He would have left the episode then. He would have left the episode. He would have been like, "Yeah, I'm out of here." The show's not even close to this.
But also too, like that whole, it was so convenient. Like, I'm gonna kill the one woman who could tell you who get your sister back at the exact second she's about to tell you how to do it. It's like, why didn't you just kill this woman on your own without an audience if that was your plan? Like, it just, again, the episode it didn't make sense to me. It was very weak.
Yeah, and again, we were giving it a lot of credit that it's been on a strong run for a little while now, and they kind of just goofed this one. Again, it wasn't as bad as like the first episode or two of the season. I just think you were trying to do something, you kind of screwed yourself up in the same thing. But better writing would have got the message across that you were trying to tell. And at least that's what I think.
I think the show is at its best when it leans into the wackiness, and I wish it would just lean into the wackiness and don't try to make sweeping political statements with this show. Like, I don't think it's the show for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it and if that's not the show for it, if you don't have if it's not serious enough for it, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I also would not want to see DC's Legends of Tomorrow giving me social commentary about stuff like this. So then lean into the insanity, have fun, give us crazy Black Mass, like do wacky stuff that other shows aren't, and really have fun with that. Like, that's kind of what I wish it would do.
Yeah, me too. But I will say, though, that earlier today, though, there was some leaked set photos of the season finale of Batwoman, and it actually showed Luke Fox getting his Batwing armor, and it looked very comics accurate.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool. I know it's spoiler or whatever for us, but again, I mean, I don't think we're over that too much, but I'm actually excited to see Luke is going to get something here. Like, he's going to ascend to, like, the hero that he does become in the comics. So I think that's actually kind of cool, because I do like his character on the show.
I do too, and I like the actor. I think the actor does a really good job with the role.
No, he does. He absolutely does. All right, let's move it on. Jason, take us to the second to last episode ever of Black Lightning.
Wow, I'm gonna miss this 12. Show, man.
Me too, man.
I'm gonna miss this show. This was a good episode. I thought this was a really solid, good episode. Let's see. Let's take a look at my notes. Jeff has this wonderful moment. Like, I literally put the note, I love the guy who plays Jefferson Pierce. He's so good. He has this moment where he tells Jennifer about watching his father be killed by Tobias. And actually, I didn't even notice they were doing it, but it brilliantly foreshadows how this episode ends and sort of gives us just reminds the audience of the importance of things. But he's this great monologue, which he delivers wonderfully, to convince Jen to continue being Lightning, because she's the only one with powers, because Tobias has neutralized everyone else's powers. The scene where Tobias, like, takes over the shadow board. I mean, this guy is next level supervillain, man. Like, how does this guy not get more play in the comics? He is Doctor Doom level with how brilliant and how diabolical he is.
That is a big statement coming from you, man.
That's a big statement right there, bro.
Coming from you, that's a big statement. But I agree. I'm with you, though. I'm with you.
I'm a huge Doom fan, but the thing about Doom is, Doom gets it done. Doom is always the smartest guy in the room. Doom is always 5 steps ahead of everyone. And this is Tobias, man. Like, he literally he calls the shadow board up, and one of these guys with a cowboy hat's ripping into him. Like, you didn't get the meta problem under. You're not going to get your thing. And Tobias just goes, and the guy goes, well, is that supposed to impress me? And he goes, not you, them. And you just see like an invisible assassin just gank this guy. And Tobias is just like, yeah, I did get the meta thing under control. My assassins are invisible. You're going to bow to me now. And these guys just bow to him. I mean, it's the perfect supervillain moment. I loved it. Let's see. You have Jeff has a plan to wipe Tobias's memory, which doesn't wind up working, and I'm glad it doesn't. I really genuinely think this show needs to end with Tobias dying. Like, that's what needs to happen. But then we get our painkiller stuff, because they are and I think the painkiller stuff, this is some of the best we've had. We have painkiller riding around with Looker. And Looker is
she's such a bitch.
Oh, she's terrible. But I love the driving Miss Daisy, right? Like, when he's talking to himself, it's like, well, you better tell Miss Daisy. So I love that. And I wrote this quote down because it's so badass. Painkiller goes to her, he goes, you don't need your arms, legs, or even those pretty eyes to testify. You get what I'm saying to you?
Absolutely.
And it's just so badass.
Yes.
Oh, so badass. Let's see.
By the way, hold on, but Tobias name dropping. He name dropped Star City and Metropolis in this episode.
Yes,
his plan.
Yes, he does.
To nullify metas. He says it's just starting with Freeland, and the plan is to go further. Which I don't think that would work on Clark. If I'm just saying, let's just play the game and let's just say Tobias's plan is succeed. No, because Clark isn't a meta. He doesn't really fall into that category.
Neither's Kara.
Yeah, Star City would have some problems with the Canaries and everything like that we left off on after Arrow. There would be some problems there. But I thought it was cool, though, that they just, acknowledge the rest of the larger universe that they're a part of.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty awesome, too. And it also gives his plan more weight. Like, this isn't just about, because this is an end season thing, right? Like, so it's not just about the soul of Freeland, it's about the world, the fate of the world. And I think you're right, I missed that, but that was a cool stakes to be given.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just cool because, remember, Black Lightning was not supposed to be a CW verse show, so I just get a kick out of it when they have these small little nods to the rest of it now to say, hey, we're here, we're a part of it, we really are in it. So I'm sorry, Jason, go.
No worries. And they even mention Lynn even mentions we've saved the world and apparently the multiverse, so they do keep coming back to that, which I like.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so then we get Ishmael versus Painkiller, which that's a good old-fashioned sword fight. I thought it was the best in the episode. Again, if this Painkiller show happens, I'm excited for it. The more I see of this actor and what he's doing with this character, the more I really, really want to see him do his own thing.
Yeah, I'm all in now. I wasn't before, but I'm in now.
Today, this was a good episode for him. And then the way he kills Ishmael is chef's kiss perfect. He's Ishmael kind of starts overpowering him, and he takes his sword and he goes to swing at him, and he grabs it, and he starts to bleed. And Ishmael thinks he's got him, and he's like, yeah, it's a shame you didn't get to touch me with your powers. And he's like, I didn't need to touch you. Look at the hilt of your sword. And the blood is touching his hand, and it poisons him. And Ishmael's last words are, you cheated. And then he dies.
Yeah.
And then, but I love that that's how that guy goes down, because it was just it was unexpected. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's see. They out the chief as a meta racist, and she takes the meta booster. That's probably I thought that was an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, and then we get Jeff versus Tobias, and Ed, you've pointed this out that these actors very rarely share screen time, and when they do,
very
it's
rarely.
electric. And this scene proves that, man. This fight scene between them and this back and forth where Tobias tells him, because he doesn't realize he knows, like, just because I'm going to kill you, I'm the one who killed your daddy. And Jeff goes, I know, I was under the bed. I watched the whole thing. And Tobias has this great moment where he goes, oh, you've been trying to crawl out under that bed and avenge your daddy this whole time? Go ahead, take your best shot. Like, when these two guys are together, they're electric. It was such a good fight scene. And then we get our cliffhanger where Tobias calls Lightning and tells her that he killed Jefferson Pierce, and it's dun dun dun. But I mean, he's not dead. We know this. Come on.
No, he's not dying one episode before the finale, and plus, he's gonna get to fight him back. So I guess before we go into, because next week being the last episode of Black Lightning, just a couple of predictions though. So you feel Tobias should definitely die. Do we think Jefferson Pierce is gonna die?
I don't. Here's what I'll tell you. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what I want to happen. Okay. And I because again, I did watch these seasons fairly recently, the last couple months, and I think narratively speaking, what I really wish would happen is, so Jefferson and Tobias fight. Jefferson gets Tobias to a moment where he can kill him, decides to go the high route. And at some point in the episode, and again, I always bring him up because I think he's a good character, didn't get his service. I think they need to bring Lala into that last episode. And I think Lala needs to sacrifice himself to kill Tobias, to fulfill, because that's been his goal. His goal has been to kill Tobias. And Tobias needs to die. And Jeff doing it sullies his heroism, right? It brings him down to Tobias's level. So I think the sacrifice by Lala to save Jefferson and kill Tobias would ultimately be a very satisfying to the narrative. Of course, I don't want Jefferson to die. I mean, he might, but I don't want him to.
Yeah, I'm curious though, because this is only the second CW verse show to end, and Oliver died. They killed Oliver off in Arrow, so there was no. So I'm curious to see what happens with Black Lightning and with Supergirl with their show's ending, because right now their track record is 1 for 1. They kill off their hero when their show ends. So I'm kind of curious. I'm going to tell you the truth. I actually have a feeling Jefferson is going to die. I think he's going to sacrifice himself to save Freeland and to save everything. But I agree with you. I don't think he's going to kill Tobias. Tobias will die, but on another way. But I have a feeling. I have a bad feeling Jefferson's going to go too. That's my feeling.
I could see that. I don't want it to happen, but I could see it. But I'll tell you something though. I don't think Supergirl's dying at the end of her show, because that's not that show.
I agree with you. I don't think she's going to die, but I also wonder what they do, knowing that those heroes exist, if their show isn't continuing. Like, will she sporadically pop on other shows or something like that? Like,
right.
I think you kind of just have to address that part of the storytelling, because there was also another thing that popped up over the last 2 days, that Diggle, David Ramsey, who played Diggle on Arrow, he is going to be directing various episodes. He's directing an episode of Batwoman. He's going to be on Batwoman. He's popping in Superman and Lois. Oh. He's going to be on He's going to be on all the shows.
Diggle's all over the place.
Yeah, no, he's going to be in this. So they are. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the side characters can continue on. That's what I'm saying. I think the main character is more something where they have to address on a regular basis what is this character doing. Like, they're not just hanging out in a deli or something like that. Like, they need to do something with them. So that's what I'm saying. I think
Supergirl goes.
She goes to get us a ham sandwich, and that's it. Yeah, exactly. She goes to play Magneto and Ed Xavier. I don't know, but I'm curious to see with that. I know he's had a lot of comments on what his future is going to be, and they're going to address, because at the end of Arrow, in the last episode of Arrow, he does open up a green box with light coming out of it. But I don't know if he's misdirecting people or not, because he's like, I know what everyone's thinking, but Diggle turned it down, and there's going to be consequences to that. But I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. I'm not fully buying that. I think he'll end up still being John Stewart, Green Lantern. They put too much in setting that shit up for them to completely just do away with it. So we'll see how that goes.
He's a perfect actor for it too.
I think he would be perfect as Jon Stewart. All right, so let's touch on The Flash, season 7, episode 10. An episode that we did see some progress in the overall plot of the season, even though I'm not loving the overall plot of the season. But Team Flash tries to train Forza, the Strength Force, and they recruit Psych to their side. Who does have a whole thing in this episode where he's giving a lot of people nightmares and doing his whole thing and like that. But by the end of the episode, he's with Team Flash now, kind of reluctantly, so he's kind of like an anti-hero in that way. Cisco's whole thing is continuing his eventual exit from the show, so we see a little bit of that storyline continued. Joe West turns in his badge at the end of the episode. I guess quits being a police captain over there too, because Walker's still hanging around and he feels like he can't go on that side of the law, so he's trying to do the right thing and do that. Nora recruits the Stop Force, and then it goes ahead and hits Psych and Fuerza and Iris with some sort of lightning at the end. Barry looks like that they're dead, but we also know that they're not dead. It was kind of weird. I guess maybe she knocks them out or incapacitates them to some high level. Obviously, they're not dead. I mean, that's pretty clear. So that was the final scene. I think an okay episode for Flash. I think it had some pretty cool moments. Some moments but my main thing was I'm just a little glad we got an episode because the last two I feel didn't advance the overall story of the season. I feel like those were kind of just fillers, but now we're starting to get somewhere.
Yeah, I could see it. But I have to be honest, I was kind of bored with this episode.
No,
I didn't hate it, but I was kind of bored with it. And I think I don't like. I'm not really buying into the arc of the season, like the forces being the villains and his children and Iris's children, and then they're trying to kill each other and then they're working together. I'm just not buying into that, and so I think that really I'm just not into. I wasn't into the episode. I couldn't really tell you things that I didn't think they fucked anything up, but it didn't grab my attention. I just wasn't very interested in it.
No, I don't think it was a great episode. I was just glad at least there was something to say, okay, at least, Psych and Forza are with Team Flash now. They're going to probably fight against the other two. At least there was something happening because literally the last two episodes, we got nothing. We got no story advancement whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, the last episode, Barry literally went to execute a plan, and then by the end of it, changed his mind and was like, we're not going to do that. So you literally just wasted an entire time of an episode, so. Whatever.
That episode was just to get Wells back on the show. That was the Wells episode of the season. That's it.
Yeah,
and
let's not forget about Wells, him.
It wasn't enough. Right, exactly.
No, it wasn't. I mean, that's all we got on Flash, honestly. This is not much. Not an episode Jason and I particularly cared about. It was whatever. Wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but I'm just hoping Flash starts picking it up and get somewhere, get some excitement back into it, because I think they're another one that started off strong and they're kind of spinning their wheels for a little bit. But let's move on to a show that has not been spinning its wheels and had a very triumphant return, I think. And I would say in all of our opinions. Tony, take us through Superman and Lois, season 1, episode 6.
I am so happy that this show is back. It comes back with a great episode. I mean, honestly, the way that they've structured this show with the different layers of everything that's going on, with Superman and this mysterious Captain Luthor thing that's going on, the relationship that he has with General Lane, Lois trying to figure out everything that's going on in Smallville, the move to Smallville, the boys adapting to school, adapting to the fact that Jordan's got the powers, the role reversal for John and Jordan together. It's got so many different things going for it, and it doesn't lose sight of anything, it really doesn't. And it hits on everything. Each episode seems to just, in my opinion, at least, gets better and better and better. This episode, we see that, Tag is it's a continuation at the end of the last season, where Tag is beating the shit out of Jordan. Jordan can't understand why he can't defend himself. He's able to contact his dad. He shows up. Tag is able to, which is a great scene, by the way. Let me tell you something. For a CW show, right? for them to, the CGI in this scene is excellent. You got Tag running alongside the train, you got Superman chasing him, you got Tag cutting across, cutting the tracks, Superman picking the train up. I mean, it was fucking brilliant, like really, really well done. Like this was, I felt like I was in a Superman movie watching this because it was, I mean, it's not big budget, but it looked the part. It did what it needed to do. We go back to the, Jordan is still trying to figure himself out, and it's tough, man. Like, this is a kid who was so introverted when he lived in Metropolis. He was the kid that was picked on. He didn't know his place. He comes to Smallville. He finds out he's got powers, which he doesn't really know how to control, as we've seen, and that we will continue to see. And him trying to figure out, he's got popularity now. He's the star of the football team. Like, just seeing him try to weave his way through all of this stuff going on, and then not knowing what's going on inside of him is, it's tough. I mean, there's parts of the series that I get aggravated with him. Like when he when he's barking back at Clark. And he's like, "I'm not you," and I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, look at him, and I'm like, "Motherfucker, you are me. Like, you're exactly like me. I went through all the same shit that you're going through, and now in the same place that you're going through it." So I almost want Clark, and as like a dad also, like you want Clark to be like, bring this kid down a peg or two. Like, you need to step in there, and he does it in the episode after the whole. So. John, who is, still trying to kind of find his way, right? Yeah. He has to, Superman has to leave. The room suddenly tells him to stay put. Guys from the team come. I understand. Look, Jordan's like, look, he wants to be he's the popular guy now. Like, oh, let's go out or whatever. They run into, the other football team, which I thought was just amazingly coincidental that in the city of Metropolis, they just happen to end up on the same fucking street, which is just amazing to me. But I mean,
remind me of the Jets and the Sharks.
Yeah, exactly. Just happens to exactly. Like, I'm just waiting for here we come. Here we go. So it just turned, Superman and Lois turned into an episode of West Side Story, just amazingly at that point. But it just, I feel like so much is going to change by what happened at that moment, because you had Clark, who's trying to really make Jordan understand, like, you need to get you need to get a grasp on this. Like, there's no, you got to tell me what's going on inside of you. And Jordan does not want to do that. Like, he just wants to do his thing, and that's it. And John's being the big brother, and it's kind of like, bro, you got to tell him. You got to tell him what's going on. Yeah. And then a few minutes later, he's about to go off and what was that guy? Cutter is his name? Clucker? What's his name? Cutter? Yeah. So he was about to go off, and let me tell you something. If John does not stop that punch, he kills that kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he kills him. And that's what Clark was making him understand. Like, look, you just can't go off head cock. He says, I have these same thoughts every single day.
He had it in the episode.
Have to. Right. He goes, I have to keep it in check. Like, it has to happen, because if I don't, then I go back on the promise that I made to everybody. And I love the fact that they reference that, because it's almost like they're referencing Batman vs Superman, because that's kind of, it's the same timeline. It's like that. Well, it's, when I first came to Metropolis and I had a kind of, people wanted to know, it was literally referencing everything that Clark goes through in Batman vs Superman. What do you do with somebody who has the powers like I do? Yeah. And I had to prove to everybody that I'm not a threat. I'm here to help you. And I have to, every time I do that. But that goes back to so many different things that happen in society today as well. Like, every time you have to, you're doing something, whatever it may be, you have to continually prove the fact that this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I stand for. And it really, to see what, how they kind of pull that whole thing together in this episode, I thought was really, really well done. And I think at that point, seeing that he hurt his brother, and seeing and hearing what Clark had to say, like, and Clark, without saying it, said you would have killed that kid. And I think him talking to Lois outside, on the porch at the end of the episode, and him saying, I feel like I thought my powers were going to make me this great person. And meanwhile, I feel like I'm pushing everybody away. It's a great moment, because it's almost like I've always wanted this, and now I have it, and I fucking hate it. And and it's just because he doesn't know what to do, and he's got to let his father teach him, and that's exactly what he started to do it a little bit. When he took him into the bait, underneath the barn, and with the punching of the log and everything. I thought was awesome.
That's a really cool
with
scene too.
the fucking fist marks
cool
in the log. I'm like, that is so great. Like, it really was. And then
and even the moment when he punches when he says no, just punch it, trust me, and he punches it and he hurts himself and he goes, okay, I made a mistake there, but like that felt so real to me. It was such like a real father moment.
It was like, all right, maybe I need to show you a little bit more, because I do the same thing. I'm like, all right, do this, expecting he's going to know what he's doing, and then he doesn't, and he screws it up. I'm like, yeah, no, I probably should have showed you this first. So it was an excellent father teaching moment there that he had to do. But again, he showed him what he had to do, and he did it. But the other part of this episode, which I thought was great, was the part with Lois. And they have really done a fantastic job giving Lois, the props that she deserves, which is, showing what a great journalist and what a great investigative journalist she is. And she's on top of this mind shit, now figuring out, that what's inside, going with that guy, which I'm telling you right now, he's gonna be a surprise somewhere down the line, this guy, who he actually is, Marcus, because he's got way too much knowledge and shit for just somebody who's trying to write a story like she does. So
isn't that no, but I'm saying, unless I misunderstood, isn't that Commander Luther?
Who?
Marcus. Isn't he passing himself as Marcus? Commander Luther.
I didn't see. Wasn't in the episode. Where was it in the episode?
I thought they left it off in the last episode prior to this. That he was pretty much going on the cover, or maybe did I misunderstand that?
It's been a while since I saw that. So,
Jason, am I wrong?
Maybe I could.
I think you're correct, but to be honest, I don't remember that last episode because it's been a couple of weeks.
Okay,
I think
it's Commander.
I think
Luther
it's the same actor, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's
it's
him.
The same actor, yeah.
Because that's why they infer at the end of the episode, where Lois is like, "Hey, you have all this tech, you have all this knowledge," and he's like, "I can't tell you all of this because we know that in his timeline that they're together and that he obviously is from a future." And she even says, like, he says to her, "Oh, I'm trying to prevent something really evil from happening too, or something bad from happening too, just like you are." But what he's referencing is, Clark going apeshit crazy and like wiping everyone out and doing this whole thing. So, and again, I'm pretty sure that if I remember correctly from the last episodes, that is Commander Luther. I don't think they were actually trying to hide that.
Well, I'm going to go back and rewatch episode 5.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's been like a month. A lot's happened in that month,
yeah.
So I may have just glossed over that. So,
and I'll be honest with you, Eddie. Like, as you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. But I also didn't clock while I was watching it that was Commander Luther because I haven't watched it in a month. I'm not as familiar with the characters, and I didn't remember. So I get where the confusion is for Tony.
No, it's perfectly understandable.
Yeah. So, but I thought that this, I just feel like this show is really on a real good trajectory. I like the characters. I like who they have playing Lana. I like who they have. The husband is just, he's so, so lost in this whole, thing. And the disappointment on his face when Lana got the promotion, he didn't get shit, was fucking awesome. I thought that was great. But the boys, the relationship that they had, I know I've said it before, but the chemistry they have as actors between the two of them is just fantastic. And I love, I love Taylor Hoechlin as Clark and as Superman. Like, it's a really, really good show. I'm looking forward to see where they go with it, not just this season, but in seasons, further. So I'm really enjoying it.
No, they've totally knocked it out of the ballpark with this. I mean, if you're a Superman fan and you haven't checked the show out yet, I think the three of us could all agree that we would highly advise you should definitely check this out. It's not what I mean. I'm not one of these. You should know right now. Obviously, I'm not one of these people who knocks the CW verse. I understand that there are other shows with bigger budgets that are able to do more that they're not. But I think that they do a good job overall for what they have to work with. But what they've done with Superman and Lois has been really like awesome stuff, and it's a lot of awesome Superman that we haven't gotten a lot of overall lately. I mean, we all are fans of Cavill, But like this whole thing, though, he's getting to explore the character a lot more in a completely different way and a different part of Clark's life. Because he also says in the episode that he's been at this for 20 years. We do find out he's been Superman for 20 years, which they never really got into at any point in the CW verse of how long has this Superman been Superman? And he's been 20 years Superman. So he's pretty experienced. He's the veteran of the group and everything. And like, when we do see, it won't be this year, but I'm sure down the line when we see them team up again, he'll be kind of like now being Superman, like the guy, the man in charge of this whole thing, because there's no Batman to refer to, because we all know that Batman should be the guy who's, whatever. We're not going to get into that.
Well, no, he is, but Bruce Wayne is the boss of the Justice League. He is the brains behind the operation, and he's said to Clark on a few different occasions in the comics over the years, like, it's you're too emotional. It's going to get you hurt, or going to get somebody hurt at some point or another. It's going to get you. It's just what he said. He doesn't say he's going to get you killed. It's going to get you hurt. And he's right, and that's the thing, and you see it. Like, you see, this is definitely a toned down, more mature version of Superman. But those younger years, you could absolutely see it. So, but I could tell you right now, if you're not watching this show, I am a Superman fan, and I could tell you that I have had a thirst for Superman content, and now this is definitely giving me that on a weekly basis, where I wasn't getting it before.
And I'll tell you something, I'm not a Superman fan, and I'm loving this show. Like, this is the Superman I've always wanted and didn't know. Like, because I don't hate Superman, but I just don't find him interesting because he's overpowered, and he's always, he's always stars and stripes, best of the best, this and that. And I never saw any dimension, but this show gives the character of Clark Kent and the character of Superman dimension. And like real shades in the character, and I really enjoy that. Like that moment that you said about Tony when he says to his son, like, "You don't think I have these thoughts? I deal with them every day." Like, that is interesting to me. Like, what is it like to be Superman and be a human being, like raised among humans, and have these impulses? And like, if a regular guy, like, starts a fight on the street, you get arrested, maybe you hurt someone, it's not great. But if Clark Kent does it, you can kill people. And I never felt that stuff like this was explored in the Superman lore, and seeing it explored here, it's making me a Superman fan. Like, I'm really enjoying this version of Superman a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like they started that with Man of Steel. They started showing you not the flaws of Clark Kent, but the humanity of him, having to deal with the everyday issues, which we didn't get when you saw the original, when we had the original Christopher Reeve, and when you had, like the George Reeves shows and everything. It was just Superman could do anything. He was just, or the only thing he couldn't handle was kryptonite. He could deal with anything else. But there's a whole lot of other things going on. There's the morality of what he should do. How does he choose who he helps? Like, all of those questions have been posed in the later Superman stuff. And I like that Zack Snyder has done that. And some people, again, dwell on the fact that Snyder tries to make everything dark and dreary or whatever. But everything is not sunshine and rainbows. Like, that's just not the way it is. And when you're Superman, that's how you add depth to the character, because he has to figure out what the right thing is, who he has to be saving. He can't be saving everybody at once. So if if somebody who I care about dies because he saved somebody else, why does he, do I get mad at him because he saved him but not mine? Like, there's a depth behind that, and you're seeing that in the show as well, because he's trying to manage his family, his sons, trying to get through, save people the way that he usually does, and yet he needs to protect everybody, and that's why they're walking around with these contraptions where they can get him at a moment's notice, because he needs to protect them as well.
Yeah, that's definitely well put, and I agree with echo Jason's comments as well. Someone who's not a Superman fan, between Cavill's incarnation and this, incarnation, it's won me over. Now I'm into it. Now I'm into Superman. Also, some of the DC animated stuff also won me over as well, because I think they also try to portray Superman and Clark in that same type of light, where they're trying to add dimensions to him, even just not making him overpowered and things like that. But we also know that an overpowered version of him could be like some of the shows that Jason has been catching up on. So, perfect transition.
Yes.
So a new segment that is going to be, we're going to find out what Jason's thoughts are as he catches up on some of the shows that we're going to be covering in the future. One of them being The Boys, and that's one that'll be coming down the pipe real soon.
Yep.
Doom Patrol is another one. So, Jason, what were your
Mhm.
thoughts on those shows? You share with us the shows you've been catching up on.
All right, so I was watching The Boys. I started with The Boys, and I'm caught up on that first 2 seasons. I'm gonna give a spoiler-free review here because I don't want to. Because Tony hasn't seen it yet, so I don't want to spoil it for Tony. But Tony, you got to see it. You're gonna freaking love this show. I'll be surprised if you don't.
No, I'm sure I will.
But this show is brilliant. Like brilliant. Like it's not just like I went in thinking it was going to be just like a lot of like from what I heard about it, I thought it was gonna be a lot of gore, a lot of blood, a lot of violence, a lot of cursing, and I'd see like some cool effects and stuff. But this is a smart show. This gives us like it gives us a lot of cursing and it gives us a lot of blood and it gives like gore. It's all there, but it's also really smartly written. It's social commentary. It's satire on celebrity culture. It's satire on America's hero worship. It gives commentary so the whole conceit of this show is that superheroes exist and they're all run by a company and they go out and do their thing and it's all a money-making thing, and most of the people who are superheroes are complete douchebags. The head douchebag in charge being Homelander, who's pretty much Superman. Like he's Superman if Superman was an egotistical narcissist. And I think like it's the casting is perfect. The guy that got to play Homelander is chilling. He's absolutely perfect in the role. There's a character called the Deep, who's pretty much Aquaman, and like not only is he a terrible like sexual assaulter of women, but he really genuinely talks to fish. There's an episode where he gets drunk and wants to save a dolphin from SeaWorld. And so he like goes and kidnaps the dolphin, and the dolphin is like hitting on him. And he's like, no, it's not that kind of thing. I'm just saving you here. This like is violent and as violent and as harsh as it is, it's also just incredibly funny. So like I'm gonna say that if you have not seen The Boys and you like this kind of stuff, you got to check it out. It's I don't want to give spoilers, I don't want to give anything away, but it is definitely worth the ride, and it's so quick. It's like there are 12 episodes for the 2 seasons. It's really quick. So that's The Boys. Then I got into Doom Patrol, and I love the first season of Doom Patrol. I like the second season a lot, but that first season of Doom Patrol is like some of the best comic book television I've ever seen. You got Timothy Dalton, who is like, I don't know how that man doesn't have a better career. Like people just hated him as James Bond. I liked him as James Bond, but this man he's great as James Bond. But he's got like a gravitas. He's got like this magnetic sort of energy. He really commands a scene. You get Brendan Fraser as a foul-mouthed robot. And I have to admit, I think the F-bombs are a bit too much. I think the show curses a bit too much. I think that's the one problem I have with all of these kind of HBO Max that used to be DC shows that I have is they're like, we can curse, so we're going to all the time, and I don't mind cursing. Like I just look at cursing as salt and pepper. If you sprinkle a little, it brings out the flavor, but if you dump it all on, it kind of. And I just think a fuck every 7 fucks every 5 minutes is a bit for me. But
that's a really good analogy. Actually, that's an excellent analogy.
It is a very good analogy. I like that. It's the Deadpool effect though, because you see it worked for Deadpool, so they're like, oh, let's just fuck it all and just do it all. So
right, and that's what it is. And it's like if you like in The Boys, it's really only one character that curses a lot and uses the C word a lot, which is a word I don't even use, and I curse a lot. But it's like, but that's his character. Like that completely makes sense to me because that is that guy's character, and he's the only one doing it. But anyway,
and that's supposed to be an over the top show, right? Like that's supposed to be
The Boys is
right,
way over the top.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that's why it works so well with Deadpool, because it's an over the top
Right.
kind of a thing, over the top violence,
but
over the top cursing, like it's over the top. The Boys, it gets away with it because it is an over the top kind of a show, but a show that's like this that you're describing, which I think is supposed to be a little bit more, I guess in reality. And I think that I
Well,
understand exactly what
Doom
you mean.
Patrol is not a reality.
It's
Oh, it's
Doom
it's
Patrol,
not.
not
no, Doom
reality.
Patrol
I'm
is
thinking,
bonkers as well.
I must be
It's
thinking about
bonkers,
Titans.
but
Is what I'm.
Yeah, Titans would be a little
it's
bit more.
it's bonkers, but I think it's more fantasy bonkers as opposed to over the top. It's bonkers in a different way. The Boys are, and the cursing just doesn't always land well with me. But I mean, again, I don't know harp on that. That's my one ding of it. But I love Brendan Fraser as the robot. I love that Brendan Fraser's working again. Alan Tudyk as Mr. Nobody, and this first season is narrated by Alan Tudyk as Mr. Nobody, who is also the villain, who will monologue to the characters and then monologue as the narrator, and the characters are going, who are you talking to? Like it works with the character because the character is like an interdimensional being. It's Matt Bomer is there, and you take like one of the most attractive men on television and you wrap him in gauze and you never see his face. I think that was such a perfect choice, and he's a great character to have here. The woman who plays Crazy Jane, who my wife recognized from Orange is the New Black, I didn't even recognize because she's so good in this. I just didn't even associate her with anything else. It's really interesting because they play with her. She's got multiple personalities, and each of her personalities has a different superpower, and you actually go into her head at some point. Like, so I'm gonna say, like, if you like DC and you like off the beaten path DC, wacky, over the top DC, Doom Patrol is where it's at. I really loved that first season. I really liked the second season. I think it's just the second season of Alan Tudyk, and that was really the make or break for me. Really like or love, because I think that first season, what they did was just chef's kiss perfect. But yeah, so that's what I finished. I started dipping my toe into the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Okay.
And I'm gonna also, actually, Alan Tudyk is in that as well. And I'm going to say this as he's the Joker and he's Clayface.
Yes.
And I'm going on record here, and this is big for me because you know what a Batman fan I am. This is my favorite characterization of Clayface. I don't care it's not comics accurate. Clayface as like the Thesperian Shakespearean actor who's always going for the role. Like, it is so funny. Like, this show, it's really, really funny and well written and really, really clever. And I didn't think it'd be. And again, I love the character of Harley Quinn. I love the Joker, and I don't like what they do with every character. What they do with Jim Gordon, making him like someone who's like obviously had some sort of nervous breakdown, I'm not crazy about. But it's a funny show, and it's something I'm definitely going to keep watching. So that we are all caught up with Mr. J now. That is kind of where I am in my rewatch, and I'm setting my sights on Titan next. I started Titan, but I don't have enough in it to be able to talk about it, so I'll be talking about that next week.
Yeah, Titans is really good, and they have a very somewhat famous F-bomb that they drop in the first episode, where it's the "fuck Batman" thing that was in the trailer, which almost turned me off to the show completely, because I thought that was going to be it trying really too hard and not really quite doing it. But I was completely wrong, because Titans is actually excellent. Titans is really good.
From what I've seen, the first couple of episodes, I'm enjoying it, and in particular, I'm really enjoying Dick Grayson. Because Dick Grayson is my favorite of the Bat family. Like, my Batman's my favorite. Villains are in a separate category. But if we're talking good guys in the Batman universe, it's Dick Grayson. I love Nightwing. I love his relationship with Bruce. Like, the thing that I love about Batman is the relationship of Bruce Wayne and Alfred as the parent and son, and then Bruce Wayne and Dick as the parent and son, and how, like, Bruce Wayne's a terrible father, and Dick Grayson fucking hates him. And this is, or blames him, doesn't hate him, but there's animosity. And I think this show, from what I've seen so far, has really started to lay some interesting stuff where that's concerned. So I'm excited to keep going with it.
They do a lot of interesting things with Dick Grayson's character and his relationship with Bruce Wayne. It gets more into by the end of the first season and into the second season. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. But again, we're going to stay spoiler free because Tony hasn't had a chance to watch Doom Patrol or The Boys or Titans. but I know he will be caught up by the time we do those season 3s air for all of those shows, which I think will be at the end of the summer, fall. All right, let's get to things that may not be as clever as some of the shows we just mentioned, and that is the 1990 Captain America. To the point where,
see you later.
well, we actually going to have.
Nice.
We have another OG Granny's Peach Tea guy who's going to join us again because he could not resist the fact that there's a chance to talk about this. Tim Zabala is back with us again, the Swiss Army knife of pop culture pros. Tim, what is up?
Where is he? There he is. Oh, he's got the glasses and everything.
These are my Edith glasses. I can control Edith from anywhere I want with these glasses. So just be ready. Be ready for it.
I got them same glasses, bro. I got them in blue.
And these are my Dusty Rhodes 1985 Hard Times promo glasses. So, yeah.
What's up, brother?
How's it going, guys? What's going on?
Good to see you, brother.
It's going. It's going. We're about to talk about some bullshit right now, but it's all good.
That's why I came. It took me 2 days and 20-minute increments to watch this piece of shit. So I had to come talk. about it.
Yeah,
well, I was giving them play-by-play as I was watching it last night, bro. I was like, "Don't even answer me. Just read my text as I'm watching this thing."
How the fuck is Ronnie Cox and Ned Beatty in this film? I mean, I just got the first thing that I have to say. How did this happen?
And the dad from Christmas Story.
Christmas Story, yes, Darren McGavin, yes. That's all my text, bro. I'm gonna read my text as we're going along later, but I cover all of that.
Wow!
Look, it's all blue. Look, it's all blue. It's all me.
Guys, I think. Well, I'm just saying. 3 of us saw the unreleased 1994 Fantastic Four film. And I think we could all agree without even having talked about this previously, it's better than this movie. It is better than the 1990 Captain America movie.
Look,
way better.
I wanted to redo what I said last week. I had said that, well, this Fantastic Four is probably just as good as Captain America. No, my friends. The Fantastic Four is a way, way, way superior movie to this piece of garbage. Because the Fantastic Four at least does things like gives us Doctor Doom, or gives us a comic book plot, or we actually get to see Ben Grimm be the Thing for most of it, as opposed to this movie where we get the Red Skull for 10 minutes and then he is an inexplicable Italian cartel lord? What?
Who had slick-backed hair, by the way, how did that happen?
I said, when did the Red Skull turn into Salazzo from The Godfather?
To me, he didn't even look like he looked like the red hemorrhoid. To me, I was calling him the red hemorrhoid. That's what he looked like, the red hemorrhoid.
Oh man! By the way, Rick is chiming in, referring to us as the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
There you go. Very nice. Well done.
Does that mean Rick is Robbie the Robot right now? I mean, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, certainly possible. If he wants to pick up that mantle, be my guest.
What's up, Rick?
What's up, Rick? So I gotta go through these things, and like this movie is a complete disaster, a complete train wreck on every conceivable level.
Every conceivable level.
Like, here's the thing.
I always God bless Chris Evans. God bless Chris Evans. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
God bless Chris Evans.
Yeah, because the dude who plays Captain America, Steve Rogers, in this movie is the complete ultimate lifeless bore of all time. He runs away almost the entire film. He's a thief and steals 2 people's cars, for God's sakes.
Bro, I actually thought the movie would have been more...
Oh, I'm not feeling well.
Can you call
I actually thought the movie would have been...
sick.
I thought the movie would have been more interesting if they would have killed him at some point. I mean, I thought that would have been much better. It would have made the film actually interesting at some point.
My God, I mean, whatever. Let's get to that in a minute, though. So why does their title screens that reads 7 years later and then tells us what year it is right after that? Can we not do the math and figure out 7 years later?
They're making sure.
Here's
They're
my
probably
question
figuring that
concerning
most people are going to watch this movie either drunk or high. So they're like, you know what? If they can't figure this shit out, we'll just put it on the screen.
That was beyond perplexing to me. And then when the Red Skull is taken, by the way, 7 years later, how is he an adult? How does he
exactly
age from that
point.
to that?
This was going to be what I brought up. That kid is what, 7, right? 8 tops.
Yeah.
7 years later, that puts him at 14 or 15. How the hell is he middle-aged Red Skull? Get out of here. That made absolutely no sense. That made no sense. And why is the Red Skull Italian?
Thank you.
Why does this movie take place in Italy? Why do I not get actual genuine Nazis in a goddamn Captain America movie who is famous for punching Hitler? Why?
It's
money.
All good questions.
Yeah.
All good questions.
The same reason why Steve Rogers is from Redondo Beach, California, and
California!
not from goddamn
Yes.
Brooklyn.
Bro,
You know why?
Yes.
Because
Okay.
they shot right outside the studio. Like, oh, we can save money just by shooting it out back in the alleyway. So he's from Redondo Beach, California now.
so infuriating.
bro, I will
Holy
tell
shit.
you, this is the first 2 texts I sent after I sent the screenshot. I said, I'm already shaking my head. I'm 4 minutes and 10 seconds into this movie. I said, California boy Steve Rogers, what the fuck? And then the next thing, Italian boy named the Red Skull. And I feel like I'm watching a 7th grade student film. Bro?
And let's be clear. The Italian Red Skull is not Steve Rogers' arch nemesis in this. His daughter and the Eurotrash posse are. Like, he fights his daughter and those Eurotrash gangsters way more than he shares any screen time with the Red Skull. And I put that in quotes because he really loses that red. You don't see the Red Skull again after 5 minutes of the movie.
No, he's never. He's kind of like he's an Italian dude with like a bad sunburn, I guess, a little bit, if you want to call him that. And by the way, Tim right now can pass for a lot of the villains in this movie because why does all the villains have sunglasses on? That's how you know who the bad guys are immediately in this film. What the hell is that about?
The horrible mustaches. I love
Yes.
that. Everyone's got a horrible mustache.
And can we? Sorry,
You can't see my name. You can't see my name, but I put Hail Hydra because after I watched this movie, I joined Hydra right away. I was like, I don't want no part of this. I don't want no part of this Captain America Hail Hydra. I walked away. I'm like, I'm good. I'm done.
So can we also talk about something, by the way, that they hammer home pretty clearly in this film? That when this Steve Rogers takes whatever you want to call it, I don't even want to call it super soldier serum because it's just a flashy light thing that seems to give us polio. He has polio beforehand.
Polio.
Yes.
Yeah. He's limping around the streets of California. But meanwhile, they're talking about President Roosevelt, who's in a fucking wheelchair because of polio. But this dude is limping around. All of a sudden, they're gonna put the flashy, sparkly thing on, and then all of a sudden, he doesn't have polio anymore.
But let's talk about the fact that they stress to you though that it makes somebody a world-class athlete, not a super soldier, not like the strength of all of that, and like not really superpowers.
It turns you into fucking Tom Brady.
So
Yeah,
so hold on. At the time, it turned them into Ted Williams, or it turned them into Joe DiMaggio.
I'd say Bo Jackson. I'd say Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
No.
That's a good one, yeah.
Well, let's
Bo
pretend
knows
though
Red Skull.
Exactly. Well, let's just go with guys that were in that time frame that he's talking about. He's a world-class athlete, and that's it, nothing more. No wonder why he can't do shit in this movie besides run away from everybody constantly. I mean, come on, dude.
But did anybody else notice that during the whole transformation scene when all the sparkly things were going, there was the fucking stormtrooper blaster noise that was going through that was on there, and I was like, what?
Yep.
I'm like, that's got to be a fucking copyright problem right there. Like that's straight out of Skywalker sound right there. I said, I said at this point, I said I could have created better special effects with a lighter in my backyard than what I saw in this Captain America film.
So let's go.
Sorry, go ahead. This is a movie proposing that the super soldier whatever, because it's not a serum, was invented by Italian Nazi doctors under Mussolini, because she had Red Skull's Italian, right? And they give that
Apparently.
to him. But B, she also has a line like, "Mr. Rogers, are you sure you want to do this? This isn't Mussolini's Italy." It's like, you couldn't have just said it was Germany. We're Americans. We don't know what Europe looks like. Just film Italy and tell us it's Germany. Come on, give us something here.
Yeah, it's
well, Italy was probably Malibu. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I don't think we're really in Italy, so I'm guessing it was Malibu. But you know what I always
half
noticed?
An hour down the road.
Yeah, since the serum was just a big beam of light, the doctor was standing practically on top of Steve. Why didn't she get zapped with this ray? Why didn't she become a world class athlete? Why wasn't she in the shot put in the next Olympics? Why couldn't I don't understand?
Because she wasn't laying on the table, Tim. Come on, you should know that. She wasn't laying on that table. It was the table that was the
you gotta lay on the table. That's what it is.
That was what it was.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I picked that right up, bro. I picked that right up. That was it was apparent. It was because he was laying on the table. Everybody else in the room is only 5 feet away. Nobody got any of that shit. Only the guy laying on the table.
Let's talk about a fight between two world-class athletes, and that is the Red Skull and their Captain America now, who goes in with no training that we've been told of.
His plastic shield. And his plastic shield, which, by the way, so during their massive battle during World War II, the Red Skull sticks him with a thing that sticks out of his hand, and he stabs him with it. That takes down the world-class athlete known as Captain America. That's amazing. It was amazing. I actually thought it was a bicycle pump pin, or a basketball pin. Like when you have to fill the ball up and you have to pump it up.
It's probably what it actually was.
When I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that's what that is.
So then, go ahead.
No, he also I just want to mention that the Red Skull makes 3 mentions of learning English within 2 minutes. They're fighting, and he's like, "Oh, I was hoping you could teach me English, Captain America." "Well, I'm learning English so I could become the president." "Well, I guess you can't teach me English." It's like, why?
You're speaking English, you fucking idiot. You're speaking English right now.
And we know Captain America doesn't speak Italian, because when he goes to Italy, he can't communicate in Italian. So obviously the Red Skull is speaking English.
Oh, hold on, but that's later on. Remember, that's when most of this movie takes place in Italy. Let's go back to the other part, though. When in World War II, Captain America is strapped to a missile and fired at the White House by the Red Skull. Okay?
I was just going to say that this fight between the two of them was not the most ridiculous sequence in this part of the movie.
And I don't know if this is the most ridiculous sequence of the movie we're about to talk about. So he straps him to a missile, fires him at the White House, and then there's a child who sees this happening, sees this missile coming. Captain America snuck out of his house. Captain America kicks the missile to redirect it, to save it, and then lands in Alaska. That same child becomes the president of the United States.
Yes.
President Cohagen.
Yes.
Perfectly believable.
It was like a Billy Joel video, how you got there. It was like, we didn't start the fire. That's exactly what it was. Wow. It was just as the newspapers come up, and it's like
newspaper spinning, by the way, is back. A key staple of Marvel films in the early 90s was a spinning newspaper to tell you what was going on. We didn't realize that there was continuity.
You need that on this show. You got to figure out how to get a spinning newspaper. Every time you change topics, spinning newspaper.
We got to work on it. Faraci, we got to work on that, Faraci.
So little did we know there was continuity in the Marvel films at this time for spinning newspapers.
That's true. It's all the spinning newspaper. J. Jonah Jameson is behind it all. But here's my question. What is the physics of this rocket? So it is shot from Italy, and it makes its way all the way from Italy into American airspace to the White House without being intercepted. No one has intercepted this thing. No. And then Captain America kicks it, and it
at the last second,
of course, and at the last second, and then it goes to Alaska. Where's the what? Where's the physics in that? What's with this? Is this is beyond comic book physics. Comic book physics.
Go ahead, Jay. Finish.
No. Comic book physics, it's one of those things where if you can ignore one thing, the rest will make sense. None of this made sense.
None. Sorry, are we sure that the beginning was in Italy? I didn't pick that up because they did have Nazi flags hanging up. Was the beginning Germany and the second half Italy, or was it Italy in the beginning also?
Well, Well, the Red
not that
Skull was
not that I'm trying to get logical about this movie.
I was going to say, like,
I thought the beginning was Germany.
The Red Skull.
Make sense of the, are we trying to make sense of the logistics of where they were?
I just want to know.
As a kid, the Red Skull as a kid was abducted in Italy. And the experimentation was done in Italy because the doctor says to Steve Rogers, "This isn't Mussolini's Italy. You have a choice." Meaning that the Red Skull was, yes.
You can tell I wasn't paying too close of attention.
There you go.
And that's okay, Tim. That is perfectly okay.
And again, I talking about physics, Jason. Exactly what you said. That rocket blasts off, where its exhaust is all focused into a tiny little cave. Where nobody got burnt. Nobody died. Everyone in that cave should have been dead immediately as soon as that rocket took off. Nope. Everyone's good. Everyone's perfectly okay. They walked away. No problem. Not even barely a convenience.
I'm still trying to figure out how he fucking he got it to not hit and it was the most amazing thing how he's heading towards the White House. This kid sees the rocket in the middle of the sky, right? Mm-hmm. After sneaking out of his hotel room with a camera so he could take a picture of the White House. But let's forget all about that. He's coming in, the thing's like this, right? And then somehow lands very softly into the first layer of ice into Alaska. And some 5 minutes later, two guys in parkas just happen to come across him and see the hand.
Well, that was after the spinning newspapers, though, because that's
after the spinning newspapers. I thought we got to that point. So.
Yeah.
Before we leave the past, I do want to point something out because when President Cohagen and his friend young Ned Beatty were talking as kids,
Otis.
They do say that.
Call him Otis.
Otis, okay, Otis. Baby Otis.
That was his name from Superman, so call him Otis.
They're trying to figure out which superhero was on the rocket, and one of them says, "Did he have wings? What or gills? Was it the Submariner? Was it the Human Torch?" And I'm like, wait, the Submariner and the Human Torch are active heroes in 1943? Then why the fuck did you need Captain America? Just send the Human Torch over to Nazi Germany.
I think that they were referring to the comic books. That's what they were. I think
they don't know what the hell they were referring to, honestly. And I think both of you could be right. They don't know. No one who wrote this movie knew either.
Well, the Human Torch was around in the 40s. Remember, even
the original Human Torch. Yeah.
Even the first Avenger had his costume at the Stark Expo. So he was around.
All right. So there's also a scene that we have where Captain America is running away, and he's like, "Oh, Nazis are shooting at me." How the hell does he know that they're Nazis? He just woke up from the ice. What is going on right now? Is he just assuming everyone is Nazis suddenly?
Wait, I have the best question. You go, Jason, because I have one that's just off the wall. But go ahead.
How did these Nazis know where he was? He doesn't know where he is. He walked from Alaska to Canada somehow. I guess he's Jesus. He walks over water.
Cane and Kung Fu.
Right, exactly. There's a conversation where Italian Red Skull goes, "Daughter, you should go." That's not even Italian accent. I'm doing Dracula, but he's like, "Daughter, you should go kill him." Okay, father. And then they're just there. How the hell do they know where he is?
On motorcycles through the Canadian woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Here's my question. My question about that scene: why doesn't Captain America have the idea to use the fucking shield to shield him from the bullets? He doesn't use the fucking shield. He's just running with it like, "I'm running for my life." Dude, you have a shield. Use it.
He's the Forrest Gump. Just run. Run, Forrest, run.
God. Yeah, run through the forest.
Also, why is he afraid of bullets? He takes 2 bullets to the chest right after the super soldier experiment. When the Nazi kills the woman, the Nazi shoots him twice in the chest. They put squibs. There's blood there, so he takes the bullets, and he still fries that guy. He's still fine. So obviously they've set it up where this guy could just take bullets to the chest. Why does he care about the bullets?
How about all the military guys? How about all the military guys in that room that just kind of were like,
hey, this sucks.
Take your gun and
this
shoot
sucks.
the guy. Here's an idea.
So Cap is with Otis. And that's what we're going to refer to him as. And they're in Canada, and he meets up with him, and they're in their car. So we'll get into this car theft thing. And apparently, he thinks that Otis is a Nazi, and he says, "Oh, I think I'm going to get sick," and says it repeatedly. Pulls over, gets out
Otis
of the car. Right?
Captain America is not going to get sick, so
no.
Sure, we'll just pull over. And let him do
whatever. I can honestly let that go for a second. So then he walks away, leans over, is pretending he's about to vomit, and then slowly jogs back to the car, and then jumps in it, and then takes off in his car. He doesn't do that once, but he does it twice throughout this film. What in the holy hell? That's
Captain America Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. It's a new game that's coming out.
Yeah, Captain America Grand Theft Auto. What you didn't see was he picked up a hooker right after that and then killed her to get his money back.
Can I just say that all of these things that we're pointing out here are the things that we're noticing, throughout this film, but the ridiculousness of it what we're describing does not do it any justice. You have to see the level of absurdity in order to understand why we can laugh and be aggravated that we all lost almost 2 hours of our lives watching this bullshit. And Tim, over 2 days. I mean, bro, I'm so sorry, bro.
No, I literally did 20-minute. I told you guys yesterday, 20-minute increments because I was getting dumber. I was like, I'm getting dumber. I got to shut this off for a little while, take a breather. So, matter of fact, I was in I got my second COVID shot today, and I was sitting there with you have to wait 15 minutes before you leave. I said, let me put this on so I can watch the ending. When it was over, I told the lady, can you jab another one of those needles right in my eye, please? Because I don't ever want to watch this movie again. Jab one right in my eye.
So with no Sharon Carter to be found in this film, there is Captain America's love interest is some random chick named Bernie that's in it. And
who's 65 years old, no less.
Who's 65 years old, nonetheless. And then he goes ahead and we see older Bernie that he meets up with in California again after he's made his way with Otis's car down to California. And the makeup on this woman, from Canada, the makeup on this woman to age her, I mean, that was like frightening.
Paintbrush.
That was frightening. She looked like Clayface. That's what she looked like.
She's my second favorite characterization of Clayface.
Oh boy. Oh man.
And you know what I like? The husband.
Yes.
Her husband was the definition of the word surly. Don't you just look at that guy? You're like, dude, that guy's surly. Like, what was his problem? That guy just had a major problem with everything. I can't picture him being nice to anybody.
He had like one or two lines, I think.
What about the daughter in front of the house when he showed up and she like smacked him and he was I was like, you're Captain fucking America. Like, why are you ducking when someone's trying to hit you? Like,
he's just a world-class athlete, man. That's it.
Oh my god, he's a world-class asshole.
So there's a chase scene that happens where Captain America goes ahead and he throws somebody into an air vent, which is bottomless, because all you hear is him screaming the whole way down, and that's it. And it's never mentioned again. Ah! It was almost like Luke falling down the fucking at the end of Empire.
Cloud City.
Just going and going, but never turns to the side. Oh man, that was just the villains wearing sunglasses. Another note.
And we missed.
And I just want to say, even Luke landed at some point.
Yes, that's my point.
Yes.
This guy's still going right now. He's still falling.
We skipped over a very important reveal with Otis that the Red Skull was directly responsible for John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King's assassination.
Yes.
What? And then there's a scene where like Captain America is sitting with his ex-girlfriend's daughter in her apartment, and he's reading through history, and he goes, Otis was right. If I got the quote, if I had taken him out, none of this would have happened. And my question is, none of what? History? Like, what are you talking about? There's no possible way the Red Skull could have had all those people assassinated. Why would the Red Skull, the Italian businessman, have Martin fucking Luther King Jr. assassinated? What's the angle?
And taking him out, by the way, he got the living shit beat out of him. What are you talking about? He did nothing to the red hemorrhoid back in the 40s. He got the shit beat out of him. So I don't know what he's talking about.
So there's that scene in Italy, which then the Red Skull's kids catch up with Cap and it's Sharon. So I guess they were trying to allude to Sharon Carter at that point. I don't know. He's with Sharon because they're trying to track down the Red Skull, and for some reason he's obsessed with finding out his real name, which I don't think is going to really help him that much at all. Whenever that happens,
That's the mission.
That's the mission. So they're sitting down. Cap is there talking to Sharon, and then the Red Skull's kids walk by them with their sunglasses on, by the way. Just make sure, and it's there. They sit down at a table behind them to shoot them? Really?
Could have shot him right when they walked in.
Exactly. Could have shot him right in the face. Bang, that's it. Over. Done. World-class athlete or not, you're not dodging bullets. Done. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And then there's that bizarre scene where they grab the bike and there's no brakes.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, guess what? There are no brakes. Whoa! And they go into the water. And it's like, how is this advantageous? Like, if I were the Eurotrash posse, I would have just gone there and shot them in the water. How is that an escape?
Well, so wasn't it before?
There's brakes in Italy, I guess. There's just no brakes. Bikes don't have brakes in Italy for some reason.
That happened to me actually back in 2020. Me and Angie we actually did ride bikes in Italy, and I wish it would have ended like this because it didn't. Unfortunately, the bikes didn't have brakes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So it was dead on accurate. We know one thing is really accurate. Italy bikes don't have brakes.
No.
So wait, can I bring up one thing? No, can I bring up one very?
Is it
very
the chase scene? Is it the chase scene?
No. Something we glossed over when Redondo Beach Steve leaves his love of his life and goes whatever he went in the back of the store into the basement, the shady basement.
Yes.
The song that was playing, and I went and I did my research. That song is called "Memories of You" by Southside Johnny, who is a Bruce Springsteen wannabe. It is the most generic. Johnny? Yes, it was, and it was the most generic 80s. This is 1990. This movie, but it's the most generic 80s upbeat trying to be that song, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is god awful." But god awful in a good way, I guess.
Well, I had said in the text messages that I was sending last night was all I was waiting for was for the Tears for Fears montage to show up. And that's why we opened the show with Tears for Fears tonight, because I was like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, but look, I got it. I got it just for you guys.
Southside Johnny.
It was horrible.
Oh, my God.
Terrible.
That's all I can play because we're only allowed like 15 seconds, so sorry. remember when he gets back and he's running on the beach and sees the half naked chick.
Yeah, and he looks back.
Yes.
Who? How are you the director? You're like, how are you the director? You're like, this. Look, we need a scene where he checks out a girl's ass. Why? I don't know.
Yes, that's his welcome to present day
girl's ass.
America.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, because after this movie, because it's so terrible, right? And the special effects are terrible, the makeup is terrible, pretty much the acting is terrible, pretty much everything is terrible about it. So I went back and I wanted to see what the top movies of 1990 were, just so I can compare it to some shit. And let me just tell you, 1990 was not a good year for movies at all. Okay.
Total Recall.
Oh, that's
was number
two.
President Cohagen played Cohagen this very year? Wow.
That is actually pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
Ronnie Cox had options. He said,
America. Or he could have been President Dick Jones.
Yep,
I'm just saying. He could have been President Dick Jones, or damn it, Tim, naming Beverly Hills Cop.
Bogomil.
Yes, Bogomil.
Bogomil, that's right.
President Bogomil Cohagen Jones.
He was he was the president also in that Wesley Snipes movie, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Wasn't he the president for that movie too?
I did not see
was
that.
I did not see that either.
Oh my God, yeah. It's Wesley Snipes. I love Wesley Snipes. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what movies came out in 90, Goodfellas, Misery, Dances with Wolves, Awakening, Die Hard 2, which was probably, in my opinion, probably the best movie of the year. Darkman,
Over Goodfellas?
I did like Darkman. Really?
No, Goodfellas was number one. Goodfellas.
Oh, I was going to say over Goodfellas. Whoa.
No, I'm going down the list, not up the list.
Okay.
Hunt for Red October was 17.
It's a solid movie. Solid movies in 1990.
Yeah, well, that's the end of them
movies.
because now you get to Dick Tracy, Joe versus the Volcano.
I like Dick Tracy.
I like Dick Tracy also.
I think it's underrated.
Yeah. I wasn't a
underrated.
fan. The Godfather Part 3, which we all know is a complete
Sam is a defender of it. We're not going to get into this. Sam is a defender of it.
And of course the amazing and the wonderful Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That I loved. I'm sorry, I loved
the original
Turtles.
The original awesome.
Ninja Turtles.
Yes,
it was better than the ones that came out recently. So
I still like it. We're damn well going to talk about that shit on here at some point.
So
yeah,
but
that started as a comic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's plenty of comics. I think they're owned by Marvel, aren't they?
No,
or is it no, because they cross over with. Oh no, they cross over.
They cross over with Batman, but it's not owned by them whatsoever. But a couple more points because we do need to talk about this. Finish this Captain America fiasco. The chase scene down the alley. By the way, with the two kids that are playing. Come on, we can't exclude that shit. All right. Why were those kids continuing to play when they saw there was a car coming on and two people running at them? And then you can tell they keep looking back and seeing it happening. And they're just like, we're just going to keep playing because we're kids and blah, blah, blah. They just needed somebody for Cap to save at the last minute.
Yeah. They needed to show his heroism, I guess.
And how about
Italy. That's all you got. Italy. So kids in Italy playing alleys. What are you going to do?
The escape of President Dick Jones, Cohagen, fucking Bogermill. The way he escapes that prison when he's locked up is complete insanity. I mean, he hides behind.
You don't think villains just leave little bottles of acid laying around so you can melt bars?
Come on, that's how it always happens. And then he hides behind the cabinet. And then he hides behind the cabinet while they walk by and then dips out behind him.
No, the best was the guy had to open the door to see that he was gone.
Yes, thank you.
You didn't have to open the door. You could just see the guy's gone. Oh I was like, why is he opening the door? He knows he's not in there.
Oh my god. That was tremendous.
I do want to point out though that that escape leads to my literal favorite part of the movie, which I have written down as presidential suicide attempt. Because I think that is the coolest part of the movie when he's like, "Oh, you need me for your plan, huh? Well, it's not gonna happen," and he just jumps over the fucking side of the castle.
And then is caught by Cap falling.
It's an American.
Really? Oh my god!
And the best was Red Skull's reaction to that. He just looks down and just stares, and then slowly looks up and just gets like real pissed off. Like, what are you doing? shoot down there! Do something. No, he just slowly turns.
He just gets angry.
He slowly turns towards the camera. It's like, dude, what is going on in this movie? What is going on?
Cap throws his shield to take out those bad guys, by the way, in the alleyway, and you can see it goes and skids on the floor, and they never show how it gets back to him again. But I know the shield does wacky shit, but that's just like that's beyond wacky shit.
But why is
good. Tim? Tim was frozen.
I think we lost Tim.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He will return.
Let's get to the final battle between the Red Skull and Captain America, because there is some really banana shit that happens in this. So, of course, Cap has to go ahead. He throws his shield.
I'm back.
Oh, so there he goes.
I'm here.
Cap. We'll give it to your point in a second. But we were talking about the Cap and Red Skull rematch at the end of the movie, where Cap throws Red Skull is standing by this piano that he has on his mountaintop, on this like part of his castle. For some bizarre reason. Cap throws the shield, takes out his kids and the Red Skull in one foul swoop, and it comes back to him. And of course, because it's the early 90s, the villain has to get thrown off the side of something, and he has to keep falling because we've mentioned that it keeps happening over and over again. When he gets the shield back, he looks at the camera and breaks the fourth wall with a smirk. Did you guys catch that? Please tell me you caught that, because I had to rewind it to be like, did that just fucking happen? Did he really just do that?
I think I was nodding off at that point.
You should rewind it now and watch it. That's how ridiculous it is. That might be the most ridiculous thing, more than the fucking missile. is the fact that he breaks the fourth wall with that scene.
I'm not even sure that's possible, but okay, I'll have to go back and see it. But oh my god,
come on!
I can't rewatch any of that movie. I'm sorry. I'm going to take your word for it.
Nor will I
must have missed it.
I had to rewind it because I was like, I cannot believe that just happened. Tim, I know you caught it.
Wait, does this mean we're not watching the sequel?
I think
what?
I mean,
there's a sequel.
No,
what?
Don't tell me that.
Oh, there's a sequel.
Tim, no, you're not talking about the. No, I think you're thinking about the
79 one. Am I thinking the 70s one?
They're not getting away with that. We're definitely watching the 70s one.
Oh, okay.
With Christopher Lee.
I knew there was a two, but I didn't know if it was this one or if it was the 70s one. Okay, my bad.
No.
My bad.
The sequel and the 70s one, because the 70s ones were made for TV, and Christopher Lee is actually the villain. And Captain America 2, Death Too Soon. When Cap
that's the shield with shield with the see-through, right?
Yes, with the see-through shield and the dogs that attack him, and then there's the motorcycle. Yeah, that's we'll get to that at some point. We just wanted to stick in this early 90s thing.
Okay.
So if you didn't see Cap break the fourth wall and that little smirk that he had after he knocks him off with the shield, the final shot of the film is him looking straight into the camera and just staring in, and that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
And where does he go? Remember at the end, you hear the president say, "Captain America, wherever you are, like, thank you." Where did he go?
I don't know.
Where the hell did Captain America possibly go?
He went to the beach?
I guess.
And we really glossed over this, and I really want to make a point of what the Red Skull's plan was, because we didn't talk about this at all, but it's very important.
Do it.
The Red Skull's plan was to abduct President Cohagen while he was in Rome, because he won an election, and he is like really super into environmentalism, and his environmentalism policies in America is somehow going to hurt the Italian crime syndicate. I don't understand that. And so he kidnaps the president to put a chip in his head to control him so he is president and he can reverse these things. Like, this made no sense. Like, how does the environmental laws that the United States enforces, how does that affect Italian mobsters? Like, wouldn't it make more sense if they were American mobsters, or if he was the president or the premier or the, I don't know what the Italian leader is called, if he was the leader of Italy? Like, it's just the prime minister. If he was the prime minister of Italy, like, the plan made no sense.
No.
Nope. And which is why I went right to
What does make sense? Yeah.
Nothing,
what does make sense in this film? Absolutely nothing.
I guess I just wanted to point out yet another thing that didn't make sense, because I'm frustrated, and this is just therapy for me at this point. I watched this, and now we're in group therapy talking about it.
Well, I can tell you right now that I can understand why they were hesitant to try these, to try these comic book movies after seeing some of this bullshit that happened, because they tried to do everything, on the cheap, just thinking that the name recognition, they make a few bucks and that was the end of it. When when Marvel actually got the idea and, the way that they started all this with Kevin Feige, it's just to see in 1990 what this steaming pile of shit was, and then to see what the Captain America First Avenger and Winter Soldier and Civil War, like it's unbelievable that that's where this started and this is where it is now. It's unreal.
We were in a really bizarro world place, my friends. We were in a world.
Yeah.
We lived through a time where DC was running shit in Hollywood, because this movie came out a year after Michael Keaton and
89 Batman. Yes,
89 Batman. Christopher Reeve, Superman already existed, and Marvel could not get out of its own way because it was doing direct-to-video films at this time, and they were in a really, really bad place.
Well, they were desperate. They were desperate. They were broke.
Yeah, but in years later, even though other friends of ours will not admit to it, a certain film called Blade is the one who got them off the ground.
Oh yeah,
and actually got it all rolling, and then led into the X-Men and then Spider-Man and everything else. Yes, Tim. I think you're watching what I'm seeing also. Yes, but it's fine. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up then. Thanks for joining us all around. Tim, thanks for jumping on with us. I know you were loving Captain America. We're going to do Punisher next week. Dolph Lundgren Punisher. So if you want to come back for that, you're more than welcome to come back for that. So
I don't know. I don't know if I can. I'll do my best.
No promises, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. That wraps it up for us here. If you're into the other stuff on Pop Culture Pros, A to Z, you can check out Eric on those days. You can check out Tim on Just Too Sweet. If you're into wrestling, he does that show with Eric. You're into the Mets, you got to put it in a book show. Jada and Kyle cover films and other movies. You can go ahead and check that out. Empire 161 will be back next Monday. We'll be going ahead and talking about the weeks in Yankee universe. One of them might be a big deal happening right at the moment. Let's see if that is. And it has happened. Corey Kluber has thrown a no-hitter to the New York Yankees. Just happening right now. Perfect music. So thanks a lot thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. All right? Peace.